Hello, today we are going to talk about some basic greetings. I hope you enjoy this. So to start, we'll talk about the basic good. First of all, you should always say hello when you see someone. When you say good morning, you're usually wishing that person a lovely morning. You can also say good afternoon, good night, and good evening.
So for polite questions, you can always start by saying, hi, how are you? How are you feeling today? You're asking about them, how they feel today. How have you been? You're feeling interested in wondering how that person is doing today, etc. What is new in your life? Once again, feeling interested in that person. How was your day? How was your family? How do you do? It's a very formal way of saying so. Mostly ask that to your employer. Otherwise, it's kind of weird within you and your close friends and family. You can also ask if you need help with anything. You can say, "Can you help me, please?" And they might answer, "Sure. How can I help you?" So for polite answers. So in politeness, you can say, in all politeness, you can say, "I feel fine, thank you. How are you feeling?" As you ask them as well how they are feeling. It's a nice and happy way of saying, of feeling interested to that person as well. You can all say that by saying, "Everything is all right. Nice to see you again. Hope to see you later. Pleased to meet you. I am glad to see you again. Enjoy your day," when you want to say bye bye or when you want to say goodbye. And it's a lovely day when you want to engage in small talk. And see you later.
So you use may, mostly when it's something very formal, like "May I sit here?" Most of the time people use "Is anyone sitting here?" which is a little more informal, but it works as well. So here are some 3 polite words. Please, which is when you're asking for something, like "Can you help me, please?" Can you please show me the way? And then when you receive what you asked for, you say thank you. For example, "Thank you for all this help." "Thank you for the drink." And then there's also the "excuse me" and "I'm sorry" when you could have hurt someone, or not even necessarily. But for example, "Excuse me, but I need to leave now." Or you can also say "excuse me" or "I'm sorry" when bumping into someone. There's also the verb. Here we're going to talk about the verbs to be, to do, and does, did, and questions. So to start, we'll talk about the verb to be, which is the base verb of the English language. It is used to talk about or to describe something. So we'll talk about how to make a question with it. There is the question word, auxiliary, subject, verb, object rule. So, to start, we'll talk about the simple present. For example, "I am happy today." When you use the simple present, it's a permanent fact, or at least it's happening today, at the moment. A person can say "I'm not happy today" when it's a negative. And as a question, you can say "When are you happy?" So here you have the question word, which is when, the auxiliary, which is are, the subject, which is you, and the object, which is happy. There's also the present progressive, which is happening now or in the near future, and it's temporary. Some people are being great role models for students. That's positive. Some people are not being great role models for students. That's negative. And how are people being great role models for students? That's a question, with the same rule of the question word, auxiliary, subject, verb, and object.
So to be in the simple past, you can start by saying, "I was a little nervous," which is a positive sentence. "I was not nervous," which is negative because of the not. And "why are you nervous?" feeling interested into that person as a question. And it's the simple quasi rule, which is the question word "why," the auxiliary word, the subject you, and the object nervous. So, in the past progressive to be, he was being mean to me, which is a positive, but not that positive in real life. He was not being mean to me, which is negative because of the not, but positive in real life. Uh, why was he being mean to you? As a question, you mostly ask that when someone was being mean to someone. It's a simple rule that Quaswell, which is the question word why, the auxiliary was, the subject he, the verb being mean, sorry, and the verb you, the verb, the object you. So to be in the future is when you will or will be going to do something, cause an action or whatever. I will be famous one day, someday, which is positive. You will be famous. The action is to be famous. I'm not going to be famous someday, which is negative and sort of sad. And in these two cases, you notice that the verbs after auxiliaries do not change forms because it's a rule in English language. Will you be famous someday? You can ask that question to an artist or someone starting the business. The auxiliary is will, the subject is you, the verb is be, and the verb is be, and the object is famous. When are you going to be famous? So when you ask someone is they're certain of their future, you can ask them that question. So you can start with the question word when, the auxiliary are, the subject you, the verb going to, and the object famous. And just a little fun is the be is going to be and the spelling bee. So it's a little fun that you guys can do.
Here are some questions with to do. So to begin, there's yes no questions, like did your grandmother know Superman, or do wildflowers grow in your backyard? So in both cases you have the auxiliary, which is did and do, the subject, the verb, and the object.
So, in similarity and differences, my wife hates spinach and so does my son. My wife does not like spinach, neither do I. Does your wife like spinach? It's a question you should ask them. And that is all for today, so bye-bye.